Folks, a visibly defeated Donald Trump just abruptly stormed out of the G7 summit after accomplishing nothing more than getting humiliated by world leaders for 2 days straight. I've compiled all of that humiliating footage here for you in this video, and towards the end, we will see Donald Trump's furious rant on social media, blasting French President Emmanuel Macron, and lying and trying to explain why he left the G7 summit. But as always, none of us take Trump's word for anything, and the factual reporting, pictures, and video paint a different picture. Here you have someone saying, is there ever a goddamn moment where Trump isn't asleep and or shitting his adult diaper? What an embarrassment. You can see him kind of falling asleep here with Mark Carney in the background. But the biggest, most humiliating moment of all that we'll see here is this moment where, as Donald Trump sits down, President Macron leans over to Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and whispers something in her ear, to which she gives an enormous eye roll. This is going totally viral right now. I have a couple different angles of this clip for you. You can see Donald Trump take a seat, and then Macron is already leaving over, and Meloni's just sitting there. And I'll let y'all speculate in the comments about what was said between these two, because it had to be something juicy to warrant this much of an incredulous eye roll.
Nothing official yet. They haven't turned on the microphones, and sometimes you can pick something up in the side conversations. But
this, of course, far from the first time that French President Macron has humiliated Donald Trump. I mean, look at this from when he was in the Oval Office, and just pay attention to his face here.
It looks like we're getting very close. The deal's being worked on, and we're, I think, getting very close to getting an agreement where
clearly all of these world leaders are just absolutely done with Trump. And then really quick, before we get to him making up his excuse for leaving, you have just some beautiful, embarrassing photos. This one from a video we did yesterday about Mark Carney humiliating Trump as he initially arrived to the G7 summit. This is a great one. Trump dropping papers outside of what looks like an executive order at the summit itself. Again, that picture of him falling asleep as well. You also had someone catch a moment of Germany's Chancellor Merz pushing back on Trump for calling for Russia to return to the G7. Apparently he said, we are not sitting here in this format with warlords and not with war criminals, which is why Putin has no place at all at this table. Ironic, given all the war criminal and warlord talk we've seen even from MAGA about Donald Trump with the Iran-Israel situation. But here is a moment where Trump was treated like a child by all of the other leaders as he abruptly storms out and tries to lie about where he has to go, that he has other engagements to go back to Washington for. Listen to this.
President, any statement on why you're leaving the G7 early for Washington?
well, I have to be back. Very important. I want to just thank our great host. He did a fantastic job. Thank you. In Canada. But you probably see what I see, and I have to be back as soon as I can. I'm going to have dinner with these wonderful leaders, and then I get on the plane. I have to be back early.
Have you talked to the National Security Council?
I loved it. I tell you, I loved it. And I think we got a lot done. Really a lot done. In fact, in the UK, we signed a big trade deal today, and we're working on others. But we had just a really great relationship with everybody, and it's really nice. I wish I could stay for tomorrow, but they understand.
Is there a reason,
big,
Mr. President,
this is
that
big
you
stuff.
can't?
And as if him lying about having somewhere to be and important things and not staying for the summit wasn't enough, here's another angle where someone actually caught Mark Carney and Macron sharing another humiliating moment as he was leaving. Watch this.
In fact, UK, we signed a big trade deal today, and we're working on others. But we had just a really great relationship with everybody, and it's really nice. I wish I could stay for tomorrow, but they understand.
So the world leaders are all kicking him out and happy he's gone, and it gets better, because after he abruptly stormed out and bailed on the G7 summit, bailing early, he tore into French President Emmanuel Macron on Truth Social. The verbal attack followed Macron's suggestion that his American counterpart was leaving the summit early to attempt to negotiate a ceasefire between Israel and Iran.
You just posted right before we took off that you're not leaving because of a ceasefire. Why are you? Can you elaborate?
Looking at better than a ceasefire. We're not looking for a ceasefire. I didn't say I was looking for a ceasefire. That was Emmanuel, nice guy, but he doesn't get it right too often. But we're not looking. We're looking for better than a ceasefire.
What specifically is better than a ceasefire? What are you looking for here?
An end, a real end, not a ceasefire. An end.
So something that would be permanent.
Yeah. Or giving up entirely.
Is that
okay too?
Are you close there? Is that possible? Is that possible in the next 24
Why not?
hours?
Certainly possible. Complete give up. That's possible. Yeah.
And not that you need any more evidence that Trump is always lying and speaking out of his ass, but after being so kind and cordial to the people as he was leaving, he attacked President Macron, saying publicity-seeking President Emmanuel Macron of France mistakenly said that I left the G7 summit in Canada to go back to DC to work on a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Wrong. He has no idea why I'm now on my way to Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with a ceasefire. Much bigger than that. Whether purposefully or not, Emmanuel always gets it wrong. Stay tuned. And Donald, I don't think that your fragile ego getting humiliated is bigger than the conflict that you supported and backtracked to support because Benjamin Netanyahu made you look like an idiot. The thing that could literally lead to World War III after you, for years, said that you're the no new wars president. Oh yeah, and by the way, that order that Trump dropped, it was actually the trade deal he secured with the UK. But most of it was announced back in May. Today was just the signing, and the agreement only covers British cars and aerospace materials, with more work to come on steel.
Mr. President! Mr. President! Mr. President, will you take our questions?
I genuinely don't know how maggots live with themselves with such an embarrassment as a president, even though he's not even really the president, as Chip's most recent video points out. Even Fox News and White House insiders are pointing out that Trump's no longer in charge at the White House. But man, folks, I guess where I'll end this is the only thing that I could think that maggots and Donald Trump would hate more than anything in the world is if more people saw this video, if you dropped a like and subscribe to make sure it gets out there. Thanks for watching, folks. Hopefully Trump's puny pussy moves and incompetence around the world saves us from entering World War III or getting absolutely obliterated because the rest of the world will just look at us with pity and be like, oh, it's just Donald. You know how Donald gets. Give him a pacifier and a diaper and stick him in the corner. Everything will be fine. Anyway, thanks again, folks. Drop a blue heart to let us know you're here. I'm Kenny Hesse, Really American. I'll see you guys in the next one.